Hello and welcome back. It's time for the weekly analysis. So let's bang our heads on the charts and let's see what we are up for the next week. Here we go. So the first pair we are analyzing is Euro USD. Let's start from the monthly time frame. If we look at monthly, we have a monthly zone right about here, which is at 1.189, and the current monthly candle has been rejecting that zone, and this monthly candle will close in about 2 days on 30th September, which is on Tuesday. Tomorrow there is market open. Now what to expect is the candle won't close above the zone, so we have a structure of a double top formation, kind of a double top around here. So we have a double top formation here. So it is rejecting the zone. Now the next target for based on the monthly time frame would be this entire range, which is about 300 pips, and we can target the price of this, which is around 1.14. So that is our next target. So this is a wide time frame, high time frame analysis on which we can expect that we are into a bearish momentum for the next week. If we look at weekly has the same thing. We can see a double top formation and there has been a rejection. If we zoom in a bit on the weekly time frame, we have a weekly zone right about here. And this weekly candle has closed above the zone, but there is a lot of rejection here. So we cannot say anything decisive, but the overall momentum of the chart seems to be bearish. So we are expecting again a bearish trend on Euro USD for the next week and next month too. If we look at daily, we had a previous daily zone right about here, which was at 1.168, and the previous daily, like Thursday's candle closed below the zone and Friday's candle has closed above the zone. We can say it has closed above the zone. So there is no current momentum in daily, like there is no decisive momentum. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But the overall momentum is bearish, so we can expect a bearish momentum. What I would do is I would stay clear of this range of daily, which is about 100 pips. You can take bearish trades, but I won't take bullish trades right about here. I would steer clear of this range, and once the candle closes below this zone, then I can go for a bearish trade of which is I still have 200 pips left, which we saw on the monthly. That monthly we have a 300 pips chain. So I will just wait and see for tomorrow how is the momentum and what is happening. Before we analyze the next pair, let's talk about news. If we talk about news, next week we are expecting, of course, there is NFP on Friday because it's the first week, and every Friday we have NFP of first week. So there is NFP coming up. Other important news that are coming up, I don't see anything. There is unemployment claims, which is before NFP. If we talk about NFP, NFP is expected to be positive. Okay, so previous was 22K and the expected news is to be 51K. But I am expected that NFP is going to be much more positive than what is expected. So it will be much more positive than 51K. So that's what I am expecting. Now, other important news for next week is this is unemployment claims, which is again related to NFP. There is nothing more important coming up. There is ADP, which is again related to NFP. We have interest rate for AUD. The people who trade AUD, there is interest rate coming up for AUD next week, which is on Tuesday. Yeah, that's it. That's the news for the next week. So the most important news would be NFP, and the people who trade AUD, there is interest rate coming up on Tuesday. Now let's get back to the charts. So euro, we are talking about Euro USD, NFP coming up, and the expected news is positive. So dollar would be strong. Again, the same thing. We are expecting a bearish momentum. Daily, as I said, I would steer clear of this whole entire range. I would take a short occasionally, but it depends on the market condition and how the market is moving. But I would generally stay steer clear of this entire range. The whole target is up to this range, which is about 300 pips. So I would expect a bearish momentum on Euro USD. The next pair we'll be seeing is GBP USD. Again, we'll start from the monthly time frame. If we look at monthly, again the same thing we see here. There is a monthly and weekly zone right about here. So the previous the current monthly candle, not the previous one. The current monthly candle has rejected the zone and it has turned into bearish. It will close bearish again. It is closing in 2 days. If we look at weekly, the same thing. We have a rejection and we have a kind of double top formation. This is the double top. We have a double top formation. Now the candle has been rejecting and the previous weekly has also closed bearish and it is closed way below the zone. So we are expecting the next candle to complete this entire range. If we look at monthly the same range we have up to this point, which is at 1.31. So we have a range of about 200 pips, which is a very big range. Weekly, the same thing. The range is about 200 pips. So I would expect a bearish momentum again. Now, if we look at daily, we had a previous daily zone right about. So why did I mark this zone? Okay, it was a 4 hour zone. But if we look at daily, we can say that the previous daily zone was here, and our candle has closed well below the daily zone. Again, the of Thursday's candle and the Friday's candle has closed above the zone. But again, as the whole momentum is bearish and the weekly is bearish and everything is bearish, we are expecting a bearish momentum. And we will see that there is a momentum that this range would be completed. This is about 200 pips. So that's what we are expecting. Now, smaller time frames, we are not analyzing the smaller time frames right now. Smaller time frames will go like as we go live and the actual trades, we'll see what happens on the smaller time frames because it is pointless to analyze smaller time frames on the weekends. You just need to see what is happening on the higher time frames like daily, weekly, and monthly. So that's what we are seeing. Now, this is analysis for GU. From the past few days, a lot of days actually, the pair which we are going to analyze next, which is pound yen, it has just been consolidating. So I had marked this zone, which was about 200 pips, and as you can see on the based on the daily structure, there is a lot of consolidation here, a lot of zones. So I'm just steering clear of GJ since the past few days. I'm not just trading GJ at any cost. Now, if we look at monthly, we see a bullish momentum because there was a monthly zone which was here, and the current monthly candle is going bullish, and the 3 month or candle closed above the zone. It broke the zone, and this is the perfect buy setup for monthly. So from GJ, we can expect a bullish momentum up to this, which is about 300 pips up to 203. And we can see that there is a wick fill right about here. So we can also expect the GJ price to fill this entire wick. Now, I am steering clear of GJ up to the point it crosses either this 200.60 mark, the upper price, or this mark. I just decided to steer clear of GJ. That's what I'm doing. Now, the previous weekly candle, like the last week's candle, has already approached the zone. I think the next week's candle will clearly break the this price, this key price, and it will close above the zone. Now, this was monthly. Monthly is obviously bullish. Weekly is also previous week's candle was entirely bullish. Now, if we look at the daily time frame, daily we have a zone which is at the key price. Now, what I would wait for is the Monday's candle. I won't trade GJ on Monday. I would wait for the next day's candle to close above this zone. Once this, which is about 60 pips, and it is very small range for GJ. Once this candle closes above the daily, this key price, then I would target this entire range. Once I see a daily close above this zone, I would target buys and I would target this entire range, which is of about 250 pips. Before that, I'm not touching GJ. Even if it doesn't close above the zone on Monday, I'm not touching GJ until it closes above the zone. So that was the analysis for GJ. Now the next pair we see is the most volatile pair, which is gold. Now, if we look at gold, we start from the monthly. If you look at the monthly chart of gold, it has always been bullish since the past n number of months. It has just been bullish and it is currently bullish too. But as we are expecting NFP to be positive, we can expect a slight bearish momentum on gold, but I won't bet on gold going bearish. But based on the news, I would just say it will be bearish for a few days. Now, monthly is just bullish. You cannot say anything of the price range of where up to where it will go and what is the range we are targeting based on monthly. It is just the open range. It is at the all-time high, and we are just looking at gold going up and up. So let's just see what happens. If we look at weekly, the same thing. You cannot say till where it will go, what is the range, and from where it will reject. So that is weekly. But if you look at daily, the Friday's daily candle. So we can say we had a daily zone at this price. So let's just mark the zone. We had a daily zone at this price, and the previous daily candle, which is Friday's candle, has closed below the zone. And we can see a rejection formation. Now, what happens on Monday? Let's see how the market opens. But next week, as it's the NFP week, and we are expecting a positive move, I will expect at least a bearish momentum on gold up to this price, which is about 600 pips up to 3700. Let's say it's 3696, but let's say up to 3700. I would expect a bearish momentum. So we have about a 600 pip range. So as NFP week is approaching and we have a bearish momentum and a rejection close on gold, I would expect a bearish momentum on gold for the next week. So that was for the weekly analysis. So these are the four major pairs that I trade, and this was the analysis for them for the next week. If you guys want me to consider any other pairs, like for not for me, but for me to analyze and give you the analysis for the next week or the next to next week, just write the comments that you want analysis of these pairs, and I'll do it for you. So until the next weekly analysis, thank you guys, and I'll catch you live next week.